Hi everyone, this is Amy with Hudson Valley Knits. I am also known as Memers on Ravelry. That's M-I-M-E-R-S. I am Memers66 on Instagram and Twitter. And currently my video podcast is just on YouTube, and of course you can link to it through my website. I still haven't really decided whether I'm going to go through all the hassle of iTunes. I really just do this because it's so much easier for me to talk about what I want to share with you rather than type it all out and upload pictures and what have you. So for now, just YouTube, and that's why I even more so appreciate you coming to join me and watch my video. And I love your comments, I love your feedback, and yeah, so let's get right to it. I have been really busy the past couple of weeks, so I haven't seen you in a long time, and that's why I have a lot to talk about. So today, I'm going to, of course, show you my works in progress. I have no finished objects, and if you've watched any of my other videos, you know why. It's because I'm pretty monogamous, trying to bang out my Rhinebeck sweater. So works in progress. I also have some stash enhancements, and which includes a couple of books, one of which I'm going to do a little mini review on because I found it really great book. It's a pattern book, and I think it's worth getting. So anyway, I'll go into that. I'm also going to review the queue with you and share with you some really cool patterns I've noticed on Ravelry that I've added to my queue. Alright, so let's get to it. Let's start with works in progress. I'll start with my small one. I haven't shown you this in a couple of weeks. It's my pocketbook knitting, and so while I don't work on it consistently, it does come out a lot. It's a pair of socks, and you can see this is the second one. So I got past the heel flap and the heel turn. It's coming along. I think there's a chance I might be wearing these at Rhinebeck. So here's the other one. And I didn't bring the pattern notes down. You know what? I can get it right from my queue, which I have handy here. These are Delias Eucharist Sock by Hunter Hammerson. I just put out a little mini ebook, which I bought, which I wasn't going to mention later because I haven't really had a chance to look at it. But I really love her style, so I just bought it automatically. Okay then, so that's one work in progress. The other work in progress is, guessed it, the Rhinebeck sweater. I am still calling this a work in progress because it is not quite done yet. Here it is. I've opened the steek in the front. Both the sleeves are done. Right. And I have picked up on the side here for the button band. So that's one side. I will probably finish this today. And then I have to sew the steeks down. I have some ends here from the button band, but aside from that, I've gotten rid of all my ends, so it's nice and clean inside. No tons of little ends. Isn't it beautiful inside too? It's a little small on me. You know what? I should have put it on already, but you want me to put it on? I'm going to put it on. Now, I have a sweater on right now, so it's going to be a little tighter. Maybe I'll just take a picture and show you. So here it is on. I'm going to move my phone here. It's like really small in the center. So I'm big chested. I have a big chest. and it barely goes around. It's definitely too small for me, but I'm wearing it anyway. And I'm hoping as I knit the button band, it should come in. It should touch, but not at the chest area. There's just, I would say there's a 5-inch gap there without the button band. We'll see how it looks. So, sorry, let me take this off. Oh, I didn't show you the collar here. So here's the neck, the collar. It's just a checkerboard. But I'm really proud of myself. It's not my first sweater, but it's the first sweater I've made where I've really paid attention to details and done any kind of sizing for, and so I'm really proud at how meticulous I was and how it's turned out. It is small, but I did start it a number of years ago, and for what it's worth, I was a lot smaller then. I've gained a lot of weight since then, and like I said, my gauge was off, and but I've learned a lot since I started it. And the next one I do, and I will do another one. I don't know if it'll be a Starmore sweater. It might be a Kate Davies sweater, but it will be really perfect because I've learned so much. So that's my big show and tell today, because Rhinebeck is coming, and I'll go over some knitting tales towards the end because I don't want to bore you with chit chat unless you want to hear it. So I'll put it at the end. So those are my 2 works in progress. I did say I don't have any finished objects. Rhinebeck sweater is almost done, but not quite. So you'll see that totally finished after Rhinebeck, which is so exciting. Okay, so a stash enhancement. A few weeks ago, my friend and I went to a yarn tasting at a yarn store in Nyack, and I can't remember the name of it, but it was for Cascade Yarns. And it was the first time I went to like an official yarn tasting, but they offered a significant discount in their store after the yarn tasting, and so I got some yarn. And what I got was 2 skeins of Lorna's Laces Soulmate, one in this rainbow colorway because I've got the rainbow fever. Everybody on a lot of my favorite blogcasts. This is so soft too. I've knit a shawl with Soulmate already, and it does pretty good with the shawl, but it knits up really nice. So I already knew I liked Soulmate, so I got a 20% discount for it, which was very good. And I'm gonna make socks with these. I love the colors. I don't mind going a little crazy with the socks. So that's one. I also got this because purple and green, they're my favorite color combinations. Let's see. The light's really pretty good for the color because it's, I got my front door open. But again, another pair of socks. I haven't decided if this will be for my friend Karen or not. I promised her a pair of socks, and I know she loves greens, and I think she likes purples, so they might be for her, but I'm not sure yet. But I think they're both going to be definitely be socks. And I also got, I don't know why I'm all of a sudden getting all these project bags, but I saw this on Diane from Knitables podcast. She got actually the same print too, and it's I fell in love with the print, and I wanted a bag that was a little bigger, and this is actually perfect for a large shawl project or something to that effect, but it's not big enough for a sweater. It has the 2 little things on the side here, which is nice. It is lined with a really cool fabric. It is made by Brown Dog Bags. Now, it has a nice stiffness to it. This outside fabric is, it's a nice sturdy, rugged fabric. It's not thin or anything like that. It's going to hold its shape. It has a flat bottom. It doesn't really stand up on its own, but it holds its shape, right? So here I am just holding it up, and it doesn't like sink and collapse like a bag like this would, right? So now, I don't know if you know this, but a while back, this woman took pre-orders for the Fuji bags, so they're going to be shipping soon, and I pre-ordered one of her Fuji bags, and if this is the quality of the Fuji bag, I'm going to be very, very pleased. I'm not sure if it's this big. This is a large bag, and I honestly don't remember the size of the Fuji bag I got, but that's okay because I'll use them both very much and enjoy them very much. And that is it for stash enhancement. So I do have some exciting things to share for Review the Q. The first thing I want to say is, you know, Rhinebeck's coming, and one of the things I like to do, and trust me, I've done it both ways, and this really pays, is it really pays to go through your queue and really decide what you want to make and what you want to buy yarn for. So I have spent some time the past couple of weeks going through my queue, getting rid of stuff I know I don't want to make anymore that's just sitting there, and putting stuff that I really want to make soon, and finding if I have stash to use for it. And if I do have stash that I want to use for that project, I assign it to the project in my queue. And that way, anything that didn't have stash assigned to it, I knew was open for purchasing yarn. So even though I don't plan on buying a lot of yarn at Rhinebeck, because I do have enough yarn for the next few projects I have, if I do buy yarn, I want to have an idea of what I'm going to knit with it. So what I did, which I wanted to share with you because it seems very useful to me, is I made tabs for my items in my queue. I made a tab for socks, shawls, sweaters, and I made a tab that says stash, so that's patterns I have stash for. And I made a tab for need yarn, and this way when I am in Rhinebeck and I need to see what patterns I need yarn for, I can just go to that tab. And then if I had something specifically that I wanted to look out for yarn for at Rhinebeck, I made a tag called Rhinebeck. So I can pull up just the patterns that I want to get yarn at Rhinebeck for. I also am using the tag Rhinebeck for projects that I deem Rhinebeck worthy. And that could be anything. It could be socks, a shawl, a sweater, even a hat and mittens, whatever. It's just something that reminds me of Rhinebeck, or is something that I would want to make to wear to Rhinebeck. And different people make different things for Rhinebeck, and it's wonderful, but you know, I have my kind of an idea or interpretation of what I'd like to wear. So I did that, and then I printed up. You can print them. So I printed up the tab that just said need yarn. And then, and it gives you, it's really, this is new too, or at least it's new to me, because I never, last time I printed up my queue, it didn't do this, is on the side, unless you assigned a yarn already, you write down the yarn that you need for it. So you can write down your yardage, if you have a color in mind that you'd like for that particular pattern, how many yards you'll need. You can write down the type of yarn that the pattern uses, so that if it's if it's 100% wool, you know that to get the same look of the pattern that you'll need to get a wool that's 100% wool, or if it's a mix, or all these things that you might want to consider, so that you can take it as kind of like a shopping list to Rhinebeck. And that's what I'm doing. So a couple of things I've added to my queue. Here it is. I want to make these boots. And I have it printed out for you. So sorry, I gotta put my glasses back down. I broke my glasses, my bifocals, so I got these old crappy readers, so at least I can read. When I'm like this, I can't see anything. Everything's blurry. But at least with these, I can read. So, Moon Kusa Boots by Tiny Owl Knits. I love Tiny Owl Knits. I've always loved her stuff, and this is actually the first pattern I've actually purchased from her, and I'm definitely making quite a few pairs of these. Moon Kusa Boots. Can you see that? I hope so. Alright. So these are felted boots, and you can put little fringes on them. And I'm going to make a bunch of these as Christmas presents. I haven't decided if I'm going to put soles on them or not, but I'm definitely going to do it. I have some old, it's not it's a lopey kind of yarn, so it's a woolen spun yarn that'll be perfect for felting in my stash already. And I have some old leftover lopey yarn too, actually, from a sweater from years ago that I made. So this is going on the needle soon. Moon Kusa Boots. The other thing I purchased that I want to make before Halloween comes is, where is you? Library. It's called the Design a Blob. What is something blob? It's a Halloweeny. Where are you? Oh, Adopt a Blob Monster. And this is by Jenna Krupar. She's with Retro Lemon. Yes, Retro Lemon. And let me show you. Actually, download it and show you. Hold on, it's downloading. But it's the most adorable little thing, and I intend on using it to make some ghosts for Halloween. I have to get some white yarn. I have some white yarn. So here's just the intro. Aren't they adorable? So now I have like the little eyes and stuff, and I'll have to get some felt to use for the mouth. And I have tons of leftover yarn. Like I could make it in, and I have a lot of full colored yarns that I could make it in, and it's just adorable. Retro Lemon Studio, Jenna Krupar. I hope, Jenna, I'm saying your name, but I love your video podcast too, Jenna, by the way. You're really delightful to listen to. And yeah, so here it is as a ghost. That's what I want to make. I'm really excited about making the ghost and decorating my cube at work with it. And then maybe putting I have like a little window next to the front door, and I can put some in the window there. Love it. So that's definitely been added to the queue, and that'll definitely be soon. The other thing I've added to the queue is this hat, and I blame Amy Beth from Fat Squirrel Speaks. She knit this hat, and now this is a designer. Her name is, she calls herself Lethal. She's Meredith Lee. I admire her. I follow her on Instagram, and I actually favorited her on Ravelry. And, you know, her style is like totally different from mine, and I never really seen any of her knitted designs that I would actually want to knit until this one. But I followed her because I really love her. I love her quirkiness. I love her style. I love that she's unique, and her imagination is just crazy. But she gave away on her birthday, she gave away one pattern free to anybody that wanted one, and I downloaded the Barry hat that Amy Beth made, and I want to make this because I think it was the construction is so unique. I love the little buttons on the side. Here it shows the little buttons, and you know, I just really love it. I love it. I don't like sewing on buttons, so I might just I might just graft that together and then maybe sew buttons on top of it. I don't know. Or maybe I'll just do like this one and just do like 3 big buttons. So I don't have to sew a lot of buttons. Or maybe I'll take it to my knitting group, and there's tons of ladies there that love to sew buttons, and I'll just bring the stuff. That's what I usually do. And then they'll bring in their socks, and I'll Kitchener their socks, and we kind of help each other out. So that's basically what's new for the Q. And last but not least, I wanted to talk. Oh, actually, I have 2 things. I wanted to show you this book I got, and I also want to share with you some knitting adventures. But first, let's talk about the book. It's Woodland Knits by Tiny Owl Knits, and her name is Stephanie Dawson, or Dawson. I'm not sure how to pronounce her last name. Here she is. Woodland Knits. So why on earth would I get a book like Woodland Knits? So here I am. You see, I'm not very fanciful except for my nails. I like to do sparkles on my nails. Like that? I thought it came out really good. Sidetrack. Okay, back on track. So Woodland Knits is a book that contains 20 patterns, 10 new patterns, 10 already published patterns. It retails for $19.95 in the US. There's no Canadian price on it. But do you realize how good that is? That's $1 a pattern. So then your next question is, well, what would I want to knit from it? And then when you first look at Tiny Owl Knits patterns, you say, well, that's for young teenage girls or someone young in their 20s that's super petite. And I beg to differ. I found a lot of patterns in this book that either I could, one, gift to such women that like things that are of this mystical and ethereal nature. But I also saw a lot of things in there that I want to knit for me. So let me just show you a couple of things. The Bo Peep scarf. Okay, so you see this? Beautiful. But you think, I am not walking around with a big bow tied around my neck. Well, let me ask you this then. You are going to a holiday party, or you're just going out to a fancy dinner at your anniversary or something. But I'm thinking specifically for winter. You have your plain black wool jacket that you wear to work. And then you have this beautiful dress underneath, and you're like, well, I wish I had a nice evening coat to wear. Well, hello. Take your little Bo Peep scarf, knit your Bo Peep scarf, and then maybe even put some beads around the edges, or just at the tip. Do some beaded knitting there, and tie it around the collar of the coat, the outside of the coat, and you've got yourself a beautiful evening look. So especially like, I don't know about you, but we go down to the city in the wintertime. You don't take off your coat, but you still want to look nice or fancy. Well, there you go. And there's lots of luxurious yarns out there that you could use to knit that would make this very appropriate for a formal gathering in the cold weather. And so this would be an amazing gift for someone that does do these kinds of things. Some people don't go out much, but I do, especially like for work. I often have to go out on business dinners and whatnot in the winter and entertain people that have flown in. And this is perfect for dressing up your drab wool coat. So that's number one. The other thing is this beautiful woodland hoodlet. This is something definitely on my list. My daughter has already requested one. And it does have a hood, which you can see very good in this picture. Now, and it seems to be plain in the back, but I don't see any reason why you can't add the cables if you really wanted to. That kind of leads me to the one thing that I kind of really wished she had put in this book, and that's graphs. She doesn't have graphs for the cables, although they do seem like rather simple cable designs. I like I like knitting from graphs. I don't like written line by line instructions at all. So what I might do is might take one of my, I have software for making knitting graphs, and I'll probably make up a graph for this myself and use that. So that's the cape. Now, if you know any cat lovers, there's these beautiful cat mitts. Just beautiful. Both my sisters are cat fans, and they both have numerous cats, and so I might consider making a pair for both of them. You could easily use yarn, sock yarn scraps for that project without having to buy all those different colors. Another thing is the fairy wings. So now, I don't know about you, but I live in New York, and in Tuxedo, New York, less than, I would say it's about a half hour from where I live. Every year we have the Ren Fair. And you know what? This is perfect to wear to the Ren Fair. No matter how old you are, you can be a fairy at the Ren Fair. And I would make the headband and the wings. I have, not just for myself, my daughter would probably like to wear it. And I also have children of my friends that would love these cute little fairy wings. Just think of even dressing up your child for Halloween. The wings are a costume she can wear outside of her coat so that she doesn't have to cover up her costume. It's just perfect. And then again, you can see how she ties in her headband, which she gives you kind of like a recipe for in the back of the book. Fairly simple, but you know, it could be worn in many different ways. This is kind of simple. I don't know if I'll make it, but I can see how anybody could wear this cowl. It's not double knit. It's basically, I think she knits both sides in tall tube, and then she folds it over. Yeah, it's folded in on itself. So, I really like it. I don't usually wear cowls, so I don't know if I'll make it, but I really like it. The Seapod purse I would never make for myself. I actually think it would be good, though, if you're, again, going to a Ren Fair attendee. It'd be good to carry around, and it also would be very cool to keep on, if you're a spinner, to hang from your spinning wheel for your scraps, for your little pieces of wool that fall off. Here's the big thing. Another favorite pattern that my daughter and I both are going to have a pair, and that's these leg warmers. I'll definitely make them for my daughter for Christmas. She's already oohed and ahed them. It's totally her style. She loved the fur on the top. She's going to pick her colors, and I'm definitely making these for her. And, oh, here's the headbands. That makes giving them away. Aren't they cute? So she tells you how to knit the little flowers onto them. Or if you don't want that, you can take them off and they're just I-cords. But she gives you directions on how to add flowers to them, which make them, you know, a unique design for her. And the other thing I was thinking you could do is you could buy, if you like the wire headbands, you can knit the I-cord around it with the little flowers and have yourself like a headband, which I like to wear those. And lastly, this pattern is what I first discovered, how I first discovered Tiny Owl knits. I noticed this pattern on Ravelry. I forget how long ago it was, maybe, geez, I don't know, I'd have to see when she published it, but I saw it, I loved it, and I checked her out, and I checked out her blog, and I'm like, oh my gosh, this is beautiful stuff. I loved it, and I especially love this scarf because I am a nature person. I love being out in the woods, and the birch trees you see less and less of nowadays. There used to be a fairly common tree when I was a kid, but there's not many of them left anymore. But I just love how this scarf looks just like the birch tree. I love the wispy ends of the cowl, and you can make the little wrist warmers to match. Beautiful. I'm definitely making this because I love that pattern. I fell in love with it from the start. I had never bought it, but yeah, so that's not the only patterns that are beautiful in this book. Those are just a few of my favorites and what convinced me to buy them. Oh, one more. The Sorry, kids outside riding their bikes. These lovely mitts with the butterflies I'd like to make for myself, and my daughter wants a pair too, so maybe I'll tell her to knit her own. She does knit, not often, but she does knit. And so that's the little book review. Now just some knitter talk, and I'm just going to be chit-chatting for the rest of this video, so if you aren't interested in what I've been doing the past few weeks, then I will see you after Rhinebeck. So it is been a couple of weeks, and I've done a lot of knitty stuff. I told you about the yarn tasting with the Cascade yarns. I went with my friend Sandy from my knitting group, and we went down together. At first, I was not impressed. It was the yarn store actually rented a room that was kind of in a office building a little bit down the street, not far at all, and that wasn't a problem. But the room was rather small, and they had a huge table in the center set up with every Cascade yarn you could want to try. And then they had a wonderful layout of cheese and crackers, and they had wine for us, which I thought was really, really nice. I'm sorry about that. But that was exquisite. The hospitality was wonderful. But what the problem was at first it was very crowded. But we found that once people had gotten a chance to grab the yarns they wanted to try and had a seat, things kind of thinned out a bit, and I really got to check out just about every Cascade yarn you could think of. And yeah, I mean, I've knit with, I have some Cascade 220. I haven't knit anything with it, but I have knit with the Eco and the Eco Plus, and as you know, I have a blanket plan for that. And I'm a fan of Cascade yarn. I've seen it knit up in sweaters, and it knits up wonderfully for sweaters. It's very affordable, and we got a 25% discount. And oh, I forgot to show you that, didn't I? Well, I guess now's as good a time as any. I did buy a skein of their sock yarn, which was discounted 25%, heritage, and which meant it was $9 and then 25% off. $9, and it's so soft. It is 100 grams, 437 yards, and it is made in China. 75% superwash merino and 25% nylon. And I bought this specifically. My mother asked for a pair of socks. She likes them high, so I get the yardage here for that. She says I want to be able to wash them in the laundry, superwash. She's a workhorse. She will wear them out, so we got the nylon. And she said I wanted a solid color. So I got her one of her favorite colors, which is this beautiful teal blue. And it only cost me less than $9. And, I mean, you can't beat that. This is, I can't believe more people don't buy it. And so this I got a discount on, but I think they go for like $26 each or something. I mean, they didn't have the same kind of colors that you can get with Lorna's laces. But geez, I mean, that's a great sock yarn. That's a lot of yardage for a great price. I think that's even cheaper than Knit Picks, isn't it? I don't know, I have to check. So the yarn tasting was really a fun night. Sandy and I went down together, and I got to try out some different yarns. They have a lot of nice yarns. A lot of nice yarns that I didn't know about, so that I might want to check out in the future. So that was one thing. The other thing was I taught a Reiki class, so I couldn't do a podcast the first weekend, which went really well. So I don't know if you all know what Reiki is. It's a Japanese type of relaxation and healing. And I am a Reiki teacher, and every once in a while I do these weekend classes to teach that. And it was a wonderful, wonderful class, and we had beautiful experience as usual. And if you haven't tried Reiki, I encourage you to try Reiki out. It's a wonderful, relaxing, healing modality, working with energy and with your hands. So if you're interested, you should definitely check that out. And then that was the first weekend. The second weekend, last weekend, I spent the weekend up at my sister's house on Saturday, all day Saturday. They are doing a huge house renovations. They are adding a second floor to their one-story house, and the entire thing is gutted. And last weekend they basically took off the old roof and put up a second story, all studded out, and the new roof, all in one weekend. And basically, one of my nieces, her husband and his brother, they are the contractors for the job. And then my stepbrother was there, my niece's father. He was there. He's a builder as well. And my brother-in-law, my sister's husband, who owns the house, he's done a lot of building. So it was like a big family affair, and we were all up there. My son has been working for them too on the weekends. And I was up there cleaning up debris, handing the workers things they needed, getting food out, doing whatever anybody needed, grabbing tools. It was a crazy busy day, but everybody was up there doing what they could to help out so that they could get this roof up in time, so that once the house is sealed up, then you can, work at a slower pace. So that was that weekend. And then the day after that, we had our spinning meetup group, which was a ton of fun. And Sandy came with me again. She's a spindler, or a very beginner spindler, and her and I have been going to these meetups and having a great time. So we had a combing and carding kind of demonstration at the meetup this past weekend, where people brought in all of their tools and different people. I brought in some raw alpaca fur I had, and there were different types of wool that people brought in, and there were blending boards and combs and carding tools and you name it. And then, people that wanted to spin sat and spin, but there were also people that wanted to learn like me. And I carded and I coned my first wool. I should go and get it for you, shouldn't I? Do you mind if I go run and get it? I'll show it to you really quick. I guess it's not much to see, but I'm excited. Look. So it's not much. It's actually, this is what I combed. I forget what kind of wool it is. And here's another one I did. I'll probably spin this up on my spindle. But then I also made these, I forget what they're called when you roll it up. What are they? Not poonies, although I think poonies are, oh shoot, I forget, but this is wool that I carded myself. It's my first time, so don't judge. And it was really fun and fascinating. I don't know if it's another hobby I'd want to take up, because it's just, oh, it smells so good. But it was really fun, and I'm really glad. I'm so happy I joined this spinning group and found out about them. I actually found out about them through Hanson Crafts when I was contemplating buying my mini e-spinner from Hanson. They got me in contact with Lucinda, who runs the meetup group, and I went to try out her machine, and I just fell in love with the group. Really nice people, lots of fun, and lots of great things to try out. And all kudos go to Lucinda. who is Lucinda in New York on Ravelry, who just puts together a really great group, and you can tell she really, really cares about the people in the group and making it a really great meeting, and making sure that people who want to learn get the opportunity to learn. She's just fantastic. And I guess that's a good way to end this podcast. I really appreciate you guys being patient for this one, and the next time I see you will be after Rhinebeck. Rhinebeck is coming. Rhinebeck. I wish everybody could have a chance to go there at least once, because it's just a wonderful experience. So anyways, I will have probably some mini videos going up from Rhinebeck, and I hope you enjoy them, and I hope it helps you feel like you're a part of it too. All right, so take care. Bye bye, everyone.